What's going on, everybody? Crazy Dog back with another Cleveland Browns video for you guys. As of course, it is Combine Week, and today Andrew Berry spoke, and he had some very interesting things to talk about, and we're going to get into those things in a second. But before I start this video, as always, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell. Also, become a member if you want exclusive perks like cool emotes. And eventually, I will start doing members only content, but I'm going to need more than just 3 members to really start doing content. I'll say once I get 10 members, I will start doing members only content. So you want to see that? Become a member and it'll be coming. So with that being said, let's talk about what Andrew Berry talked about today during his media availability at the scouting combine. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is apparently a proposed rule change, as according to Scott Petrak, and I quote, Browns have submitted a rule change. Want the trade deadline moved back 2 weeks from end of October to mid November. Believe more of the season should pass before the deadline. And honestly, I like that because with where the deadline is right now, a lot of teams still aren't really sure where they stand, right? I mean, are they buyers, sellers, both? Week 8, teams are still trying to figure out what they really are. By week 10, we will probably know who's legit buyers and sellers and who's still on the fringe. But yeah, I would wholeheartedly support the NFL pushing back the trade deadline a couple weeks. And it sounds like other teams are bored with that too, because I heard that other teams have proposed the very same thing. So we'll see how that goes. If I had to guess, it's probably going to pass. But knowing the NFL, they'll say, no, 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 we keep it week 8. Because that's how the NFL does it, right? They don't go by logic sometimes. Now, another thing that Andrew Berry talked about is Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb's rehab. First, we're going to start off with Deshaun Watson, as this comes from Around the NFL on Twitter, and I quote, Browns general manager Andrew Berry says QB Deshaun Watson will begin throwing in March. He's making really good progress, and we're really excited to see that continue. Awesome. Which means he should be pretty much a full go for training camp, maybe even by OTAs. So that's really, really good news. In fact, I actually forgot he had 2 shoulder injuries. Remember? He had the one that he suffered against the Titans, right? He came back. He was going to play through that injury. And then he got his other shoulder completely messed up by the Ravens. And that ended his season. Not to mention he had the ankle, too. Dude is something else. He will play through anything. He even played with a freaking lung injury a couple years ago. Remember that? The dude couldn't fly. He had to drive to the game. And I believe it was a road game that week, too. Ugh. Damn. But yeah, that happened back when he was in Houston. Now, in regards to Nick Chubb's rehab, well, according to Scott Petrak, Browns Andrew Berry didn't have much of an update on Nick Chubb's rehab or contract situation. Called him 1 in a billion running back. He is definitely one of those generational types. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer that we don't have an update on the contract situation. That's got a lot of Browns fans on edge because for some reason they think that we're going to cut Nick Chubb. No, he's not going nowhere. If I had to guess, he's going to get a modest extension at some point to alleviate the salary cap and give us more money to play around with. But as far as his rehab, it's still relatively early. That's what Andrew Berry said when he was talking to the media. So we'll see how he is by, I'll say, May or June. Yeah. And then finally, we got an update on training camp as from Tony Grossi earlier, and I quote, Browns will host joint practices with the Vikings. So look at that. We're welcoming old friend Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa, who of course is now the GM of the Vikings. We'll be welcoming them to town. That'll be fun. I hope those practices are open to the public. I know when they had the Vikings, they're getting the Vikings, but when they had the Eagles in town a couple years ago, those practices weren't open to the public, which was a bummer. Hopefully, this year they're open to the public. That'd be cool to see Justin Jefferson and company in person. And then also, team will return to Greenbrier for training camp. Awesome. And that'll probably be at the beginning of camp, and it'll probably go about what, 7 or so, 10 days, maybe at most. So lovely. Which means once again we'll barely have any time to go see the Browns in Berea. At least it sounds like they'll have their joint practices in Berea this year, rather than last year where they had to go to Philly. So yeah, that's really all I had to talk about. Or at least that's what Andrew Berry had to talk about. But yeah, stuff. But of course, the week is just getting started. And for those wondering why I don't have the combine background, well, this stuff doesn't really involve, the combine. It's Browns news. Yeah, they're at the combine, but it's Browns news. Now, once the Browns start interviewing players and stuff, and that news comes out, then I'll be using the combine background for that. So, yeah, just to, clear up any confusion. But that's really going to wrap it up for this one. And I'll be live later tonight for Cavs and Mavs. Awesome. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Yeah, Kyrie's only playing the Cavs, what, the sixth time since the trade? Like for a while there, it seemed like he was straight up dunking the Cavs. But yeah, should be a fun game tonight. Hope to see you guys there. But yeah, if I hear anything else, I will definitely make a video. But haven't really heard much in terms of free agent rumors. But I'm sure stuff will be coming out. So with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for this video. As always, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell, and I will see you guys tonight for Cavs and Mavs. Go Browns, I'm Crazy Dog, and I'm out. Bye-bye.